Welcome to another conversation between myself, Dr. Akhu, and Dr. Maat. In this recording, we discuss meditation with our children.
So how about we talk about our children and meditation and some of the ways we engage meditative practice in our lives with our children.
Great. I'd like to start out with a little story about my little girl and meditation. She's a black belt in Taekwondo at this point at 10 years old, but when she started Taekwondo at 3, they do a form of meditation in Taekwondo. Basically, really what they do at the early stages is just try to get them to sit still and be quiet for a couple of minutes. It's not anything more elaborate than that. But in her little tryout for Taekwondo, she sat still and was quiet for like 20 minutes. While she might have been listening to us while we were discussing the possibilities, but for a 3.5-year-old to sit still and be quiet for 20 minutes was amazing. The master was amazed at her ability to be still, which is one aspect of some meditations. And so she's been exposed to at least the concept of meditation from there in Taekwondo, but bringing it home and really helping her meditate more started out really helping her get to sleep. That's where we started, really trying to help her quiet her mind for sleep. And we started meditating together. And then I found an app that she liked so that she could meditate on her own, because the app also had little graphics that described what meditation is, and it would lead you through the meditation. And then we started using the app together. And so now we are reestablishing everything, of course, as we move into the new school year and out of the summer relaxation of the nighttime rituals and schedules. But we are moving back toward laying together and meditating for a few minutes as part of this bedtime ritual for her to rest and get to sleep. And I think that's a good start on her journey of meditation, and look forward to, as she gets older, introducing her to more advanced practices of meditation. But right now it's focusing on breathing and quieting the mind so that we can rest, is where we're at.
So let's say a little bit more in a moment about the type of meditation practice we do with our kids. But I want to stick with this and just elaborate a little bit more on ways of introducing the child to meditation. And so you gave a great example, and I really want to piggyback, because that was the same approach for me with my son, to meditate at night before going to bed, and using that time as a way to help him wind down and relax. We also usually read before we meditate, which is a big thing that's advocated through school and just good parenting. And so there's the reading, which starts to quiet the mind, and then there's the meditation that starts to quiet the mind, which in turn fosters better going to sleep, right? And being able to have a more restful sleep, which we know is critical and important for children, especially young ones. So I think there is something to be said for, if you want to start introducing your child, doing it at night at bedtime. It's also good because it's a time for you as a parent or guardian to establish or cultivate the relationship. And, we can't say enough about how, if you're trying to, discipline your children, if you're trying to educate your children, if you're trying to teach them routines or rituals, you will go so much further if you have a relationship with your child, a good relationship with your child, a loving, respectful relationship with your child, than if you have a contentious one, and one where you're demanding and having to yell, and it's in an argumentative context. And the way we reduce that is by spending more quality time, and that reading time and that time of meditation. And it can be just 10 minutes before they go to bed, right?
In fact, to expand it, we're starting to talk about meditation, but really to expand it, that whole bedtime ritual time, I think it's such magical time of bonding with your child, and it can be so joyous. For us, it starts at teeth brushing and bath time, and moves through reading a book also, and meditating, and it's that whole, I guess in total about 20 minutes, half an hour. That whole nighttime ritual is so precious, because we know also they grow up so fast.
Yes, and not all parents or guardians have the opportunity to even put their child to bed, or have the time to be able to, or have competing responsibilities that make it difficult to have that time. So I want to just acknowledge that. And if you don't, have that space where you're not home when your child goes to bed, or it feels too rushed, one thing I would say is, by taking that time to spend with them before bedtime, you will get much more bang for your buck than any other efforts you can put into. But building the relationship is going to just go such a long way.
And just to expand on that, the idea that bedtime is a great time because it's something that happens every night, but it can be any time. There was a point when in the morning, the way I'd wake her up in the morning was cuddling for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
There have been points when it's been an afternoon ritual of, when we have time in the afternoon, getting together and reading for 10 minutes. So I think that it really depends on the family schedule, but what's most important is finding a regular time, whether it be 10 minutes a day or a half an hour a day, but whatever that regular time is that you can look forward to and that your child can look forward to spend time together doing something that you both enjoy. Reading, meditating, talking to them while they're in the bath. Any of those things can work as long as it's there for both of you, regular, and that you both enjoy it.
Right. So just in terms of meditation, the best time to meditate, often people ask, well, what's the best time to meditate? Well, the best time to meditate is the time where you actually will do it.
Great answer.
So if it's in the morning,
exactly.
That's it. If it's at night, then that's it. Mm-hmm. And so, there's a number of theories and, philosophical perspectives about the optimal times to meditate in terms of early in the morning, between 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 4 a.m., and 6 a.m.
I think it depends on where you are in the journey also.
Yes.
Especially if you're starting in the journey, then definitely the best time is whatever time you can do it consistently.
Yes.
And so now some other later, more advanced places in the journey, then that kind of stuff might be very important. But people are looking at that and then they don't start.
Right.
So wherever you can start is the best place. So I love that answer. Whatever time you can do it, and it doesn't matter. It can be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It could be 6 o'clock in the evening. It can be bedtime. It can be first thing in the morning. But whatever can be consistent. I think the consistency is really the key.
That is what's key. That is what's key. And with bedtime, if in terms of meditating, sometimes people are worried, or they get feedback that, well, you don't want to meditate before you're going to bed because, you may fall asleep, or instead of, actually meditating. And again, I think depending on where you are in your area of development, if you're falling asleep initially, then that means you're tired and you need to be getting sleep. Mm-hmm. And so perhaps then you need to push the meditation a little earlier, so that you can get the meditation in, then fall asleep. But for some people, if you're not sleeping well and you need to be able to get to sleep, well, then if meditation is going to help you to get to sleep and to stay, sleep, so that you then can wake up the next day more refreshed, then that's where you start.
Exactly. It's really about what you need at the time. And that's what a lot of people need, is stress reduction and improved ability to sleep through the night.
Mm-hmm. So have we said enough about meditation in terms of the time to meditate, and where, and the sort of ritual around that, where we might then just talk a little bit more about the actually meditating, or what we do, some of the practices that we do?
I think so. I think it would be good to talk more about some of the specific practices, and some of the specific practices when we are introducing it to our children also.
Okay, so our next moment or segment, that's what we will say.
Okay. For more information about us and what we do, please visit drakhu.com, DRAKHU.com, and the Center for Spirit.com, Center, the number 4, Spirit.com.